So, Rob, I hear you went and bought a phone.
I did.
You went to the Apple store?
Yeah. Um, yeah, there wouldn't have been my first choice to go to a physical store and talk to people.
Well, I mean, of course. I mean, is that just did you do in-store pickup or did you just not have the option of having it mailed to you for some reason?
No, so I wanted to move to the upgrade program. And in the UK, you can't sign up for the upgrade program online.
Right.
So I had to reserve a phone for Friday and then go in, pick it up, and sign up for the upgrade program while I was in store.
Oh, I got it. I'm in that too. I have yet. This is going to be my first year doing the upgrade, and I'm interested to see how that works and how they deal with phone availability when you're in that program.
Yeah, I mean, I get the impression it looks like it's just going to be like any other time you try and buy one or reserve one. Like you'll just have to, send it to the store or whatever. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, the upgrade program, I expected to be in there, maybe half an hour, an hour. It took maybe 10 minutes to sign up, even in store.
Oh, that's good. So, but I mean, the real big news isn't that it took you no time at all to sign paperwork. It's that you're ditching your Android phone of what I don't know about a year that you've had for an iPhone. Is it 8 or 8 Plus?
8 Plus.
Nice, the big boy phone.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's-
Because the Pixel XL is basically the same size as the Plus.
oh, okay.
So I couldn't really go back to a smaller phone now.
Well, I'm glad you're a member of Plus Club, though. I mean, I'm going to be a member of Plus Club for at least a couple more months.
Yeah, I think a lot of it, I probably could have dealt with it just an 8, but, there's the better camera and it's got the two cameras and, it is the better phone of the two.
Yeah, I just I like not only the camera, but I also like the just having the real estate for seeing more of your Twitter timeline or your text messages or whatever it is. I just like having a little more space, and part of that is driven by the fact that I'm on a train all the time, commuting downtown, and as a result, I do a lot of what I do on my phone at various parts of the day. So it helps to have kind of the most screen possible for that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And talking of getting rid of my Google Pixel, I
Uh-huh.
traded it in at the Apple Store.
Oh, you
I
did?
just, I just let. Well, I was going to sell it to. There's a company in the UK called Mazuma. It's like
Uh-huh.
one of these companies you just send your phone to and they give you the money or whatever. Because I couldn't see the Google Pixel on Apple's trade-in page.
Uh-huh.
But then in the store, the assistant who was dealing with my upgrade program stuff, she went, "Oh yeah, we can trade that in here." And I was just like, "Oh yeah, okay." And she told me how much, and I went, "Yep, that's fine by me." And she, "Oh, have you got it backed up?" And I went, "There's nothing on there," and I just kind of handed it over.
I said, blow it out. I wonder what they do. I bet they turn around and sell it to another company very much like the one you were going to sell it to, and then it eventually ends up in some other part of the world.
Yeah, you actually, when they're doing it, you see it's actually a third-party company that they're just obviously have a deal with Apple.
Right.
There was a fun moment with that though. So I've done my upgrade program. That's all done. And we're doing the trading, and she's doing it on the iPad. Because all the assistants have iPads, don't they? And we get about halfway through it, and then she presses a button. And she went, "Oh, we're gonna have to go to the Mac to do this. We can't do this on the iPad." And it took all of my willpower not to make some kind of real work joke. Like I started laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
it was
wouldn't.
kind
She
of a
wouldn't
fun
get it.
moment.
Yeah, she wouldn't get it.
She would not.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah, it's so you mentioned that it didn't seem like there were all that many people there picking up eights, were there?
No, I mean I've been to this store, or at least walked past it. On a weekend day, like a Saturday or a Sunday. There was less people in there than there normally is on a weekend day.
Huh.
There was barely any queue. There was maybe like 5 people queuing to pick up, but these were all people that had already reserved.
Yeah, that's interesting. I do wonder how many people are holding out and waiting for the iPhone 10 because, I've seen just little stuff like Mark Gurman doing a poll on Twitter and saying how many people are waiting for the 10 and 80% of his followers were waiting. Now, he's obviously got a pretty hardcore geeky audience. On the other hand, that's a pretty high number no matter who it is.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, like I say, I'm pretty sure I've been past this Apple store on another launch day before, and there was queues out the door, like huge queues. I think it's a weird one though. I think as well because it's like basically the same design as the 7. they've probably got so much stock of this phone anyway.
Yeah.
You know, if you're ordering, I mean, I even looked, if I'd ordered one on the website on Friday, it would have been delivered on Monday. So I guess tomorrow as we record.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's not like they're out of stock of these, like they're just like a couple of days turnaround.
Yeah, well, it's good if you need to get one. I ordered a watch, and I was just too tired. I wasn't getting up it would have been 2 a.m. my time to order, right when they were released. And so I just stayed in bed and ordered it like 6 a.m. when I got out of bed. And already 4 hours from when they launched, they were 4 to 5 weeks out. So I'm not seeing my Apple Watch until the middle of October.
Yeah, it's definitely, the Apple Watch is definitely, either it's a stock thing or, they have just been more popular. But
yeah, I was talking to Jake Underwood, who writes with me at Mac Stories, and he was all over around where he lives in Indiana and couldn't find one in stock on a store shelf either. So it seems to be either fairly limited supply or at least fairly high demand, or maybe a combination of both. I did order the cellular one though.
Yeah, I guess maybe that one might be a little bit harder to get hold of just because it's an entirely new watch, I guess, whereas
right.
I guess the standard Series 3 is mostly just the same watch. I mean, I know they said it's a little bit thicker by, a couple of millimeters or something, but, it's essentially the same watch.
Yeah, I think the main differences are the speed and the altimeter that they've added to it as well.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of getting the 10, because, a few people have asked me this, like, oh, why aren't you just getting the 10? One, I kind of just wanted back on iOS, like, right now.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Two, I wanted to sign up for the upgrade program, and a bit like you're saying, I really don't know what the stock situation is going to be like in October. Whenever the pre-orders go live,
right?
I feel like it's going to be all over the place. And then, I feel like there's inevitably going to be some bugs and stuff with Face ID.
Yep.
I don't know what. It seemed to work fine in demos, and I've seen videos and stuff, but I'm sure there's going to be a few bugs there. And then the last thing is just apps not being updated fast enough from, I'm not talking about like, developers that we know. I'm talking like banks and big enterprise companies that are just not going to update their apps properly.
Yeah, no, I know. And what it does is it basically letterboxes them. So it takes the iPhone 7 or 8 screen and leaves it black top and bottom, which I don't know. I don't like the look. Some people, I've actually seen people on Twitter say they like the look because, of course, there's the inevitable backlash against the notch and how awful it is. I don't really ascribe to that, but I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, even if it's wrong.
I was totally part of that, but I just like to stir it up a lot of the time.
Oh, I know.
If I could have got the 10, a few days ago, I would have done. I feel like if it had been released at the same time, I would have been trying to get a 10, but...
Yeah, I can always tell when you're trying to whip up the trolls.
Yeah. But, the 8 Plus, I mean, yes, it is a very different phone. The 10 has obviously got Face ID and the screen and stuff like that, but in terms of coming back to iOS from Android, like, the 8 Plus is still a great phone.
Oh, yeah, you're not missing anything in the sense that you've got the exact same chip that's going to be in the 10. I mean, it's not going to be like a phone that's obsolete faster than the 10 or anything like that. The only differences are, as you said, the way the screen works and the Face ID. There's some unique things about the 10, but in terms of the innards, it's the same thing.
Yeah, definitely. And, hopefully next year, whatever, either the 10 or the, its successor will be available in September, so then my upgrade program will be in sync again, which would be nice as well.
Yeah, I do wonder about that aspect of it a little bit too, because I got my 7 Plus in September last year, and now I'll be getting this phone in October, November. And what does that mean for next year? Do I have to wait until October, November again, or you know what I mean, or will I have to do something?
Assuming it's the same in the US, because they were explaining the upgrade program to somebody in front of me. Basically, all Apple care about is that you've made 11 payments. So if you want to upgrade early, you can just make the extra payments. That appears to be in the small print, that basically all they care about is that you've paid for 11 months.
I got it. That makes sense.
So presumably, if you were a little bit ahead next year, you can just pay those extra 2 months and just upgrade early.
Yeah. No, I know a lot of people describe it as leasing, but it's not a lease. What you're really doing is it's basically financing. It's installment payments at an interest rate that is pretty. I think it's a pretty good deal overall because you get the Apple Care and everything with it too. And if you kind of map it out compared to just buying the phone outright, it's a pretty decent deal.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to make a bit more money if you were to just buy it outright and sell it privately at the end of the year. But then, as you say, you don't get Apple Care, and selling phones is a nightmare anyway. You can sell them to like a Mazuma recycling place, but then you obviously, you don't get as much money. But selling it on like eBay or something is not that fun either.
Yep. No, I'm totally with you because it's not. It's worth it to me to get a little worse price if I don't have the hassle of having to sell it myself.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me, like, on the 8 Plus, it's like 40 something pound a month. I can just pay that, and next year I just get a new phone and I don't have to think about it. That's all I want. I don't want to have to watch the keynote every year and then think about money and, can I afford it, or how am I going to do this? Like, this way I can just get a new phone and I don't have to worry myself with it at all.
Yeah, no, I agree. So tell me a little bit about what you've been. So you've had the phone since Friday, and now it's Sunday morning. So you've only had it a little over 24 hours. What have you been doing? What have you liked so far? What don't you like so much?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing I did was just I took a list of apps from my Android phone before I traded it in, and I kind of just went through and downloaded all those. I mean, signing into those was a nightmare because they're all like secure 1Password passwords. So that took me a good few hours to kind of sign into everything. And then I'd been through like the Club Mac Stories archive to look through all the apps that had been mentioned in there to see if there's anything I'd missed. Picked up a few apps that I'd seen over the past 12 months that I was like, oh yeah, I really should get that, like Obscura and Peacock. Ben was kind enough to send me an Obscura code, which was nice of him because he said my home screen looked too sparse. So yeah, that I mostly just downloading apps. Like, it took me a long time as well to sort my home screen out because I couldn't really remember where I wanted stuff. Partly because on Android, like, everything just sits in a folder, and then you just put the things you want on the home screen, where that's not really an option on iOS.
Right.
And then I've been testing out the camera, the portrait photos, mostly on the cats. Like, I've just been waiting for them to sit still so I can try portrait. Which it's not perfect because like the studio effects really don't work on a furry creature. They're obviously much better designed for an actual human face.
Right.
But the actual initial portrait photo still looks really nice.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. I've been happy with portrait mode overall. I mean, yeah, I guess the new lighting effects are really just for humans, from what I've read. I haven't tried them out myself, but taking portrait photos, you can take a portrait photo with just about any object that's in the foreground. So that's I don't know, it looks pretty cool.
Yeah, so and like I say, it's mostly kind of browsing the App Store or looking at articles and seeing what things I've missed, and I'm probably going to pick up a bunch of the Carrot apps like weather and health or fitness, something like that. A few of those as well.
Yeah, Carrot Fit is a good one. All the Carrot apps I like. And I'm teaching you how to use stickers. I hope everybody can know that I have yet one more person to spam with stickers now, because I think I've worn out my welcome with Mike Hurley and probably Federico too. So I'm taking out that need that I have on Robb now.
Yeah. I don't know. See, I've been asking you questions because I couldn't work out how to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, usually on Wednesdays or Thursdays is when you'll get the most stickers from me, because that's when I'm testing out stickers for the newsletter.
Right, I'll look forward to that.
Those are my big sticker days.
Yeah, so it's mostly just kind of general setup of a phone. Like, I'm not really, there's not a huge amount I need from it. Like, there's just some apps that maybe there isn't equivalents from Android, or that I just haven't thought about. Like, you suggested GIF wrap to me this morning to convert live photos into GIFs, which is that was kind of what I was looking for, because I couldn't just post directly to Tweetbot.
Another good GIF one, if you really want to get deep into the GIF world, is GIF Toaster, because you can take videos and you can trim them and edit them and superimpose text and do all sorts of stuff with GIF Toaster. It's really powerful, but GIF Wrapped is a good one for just collecting and organizing more than anything else.
Yeah, it's been good. And as I say, I'm sure over the next week or so I'll pick up some more apps. And actually, talking of apps, me and Jess decided to turn on family sharing.
Oh yeah,
because a lot of this works better for Jess's benefit than it does mine. Jess generally doesn't buy that many apps,
right?
Or she's certainly not gonna spend $10 on peak out, for example. Like, it's not, a $10 calculator probably isn't for everybody. So we turned on family sharing so that she can kind of share our apps. And that's been really good. Like, just turned it on. It's all fine, I guess, other than I have to pay for all the apps because only the family organizer can pay for apps, which is a bit weird.
No, I think you can. I think individuals can. Then you just have to go into their profiles in order to download them yourself. I think. I don't, because I do most of the app buying in my house too, and we have family sharing turned on, so it doesn't really come up that often. But I'm pretty sure I can access everybody else's apps that they may have downloaded. The only thing about family sharing is a lot better than it used to be. It used to be really kind of a big bag of hurt, as Steve Jobs used to say about, I think it was Blu-rays. But it has improved. The one thing you can't do is you're not going to be able to get in-app purchases that you can share. I think that's one of the few areas that's still off limits.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's fine. It was mostly for like the apps that I buy that Jess doesn't necessarily want to pay for, or she's not going to use that often. And it's worked really well. And whenever one of us runs out of iCloud storage of our free 5 gig, then I'll just upgrade us, and we can share the storage now, which is new in iOS 11.
Yeah, that's something that I was really looking forward to, and I need to actually still set up because I had a very big allotment, I guess a terabyte, just because I wanted to have all the photos and family photos covered, and everybody else was on like 5 gigabytes originally, but then I think I upgraded my wife and one of my kids to the 10 or whatever the next step up is, and so I was starting to get nickel and dimed by person for $5 or $10, whatever it is, per month, and now I'm just going to be able to dump everybody into the same storage plan because I have tons of storage left. There's a big leap between like the second and third tier on iCloud storage. I haven't looked at this in forever, so I've got all these numbers completely wrong. But I've got a big enough plan that I can fit everybody comfortably on mine.
Oh yeah, it sounds like you're on like the top one, which I think that's been upgraded to 2 terabyte now.
Yeah, whatever that
so
is.
I'm sure that'll be enough for everyone who's on your family sharing.
Yes, I think so too. So tell me a little bit too about the AirPods, because I know you got AirPods, and I have a little story about AirPods as well.
Yeah, so I mean, AirPods, I think I mentioned this last episode, but that was one of the reasons I kind of wanted to come back to iOS as well. Just because I was interested in trying them, and I've been using them this week, and I've used them yesterday and the day before, and they're really good. And I actually picked these up on Amazon maybe a week before I got my phone. As soon as I knew I was getting the phone, I ordered them on Amazon because like Apple was still like 2-3 weeks delivery.
Oh, okay.
So but it was a seller on Amazon, but they were dispatched through Amazon, so it's like it would be fine if there's any problems. I can just send them back anyway.
Yeah.
But I don't think I'm breaking any new ground by saying they're pretty good. I don't think there's any more really to say than that.
Yeah, I like I like that the range of them is so good. I had the same experience. I remember listening to Mike Hurley talk on, I think it was Connected, that he was having some interference issues when he was in New York City this summer. And I've noticed that too when I'm in downtown Chicago sometimes, that there can be radio interference that will cause them to kind of glitch and knock out. But I've had that same problem with any Bluetooth headphones, and the AirPods have probably held up better than others. Plus, I found out this week that they are laundry safe because in my haze of exhaustion in the run-up to the release of iOS 11 and everything that we did this week on Mac Stories, I managed to send my AirPods along with my wallet and several other things through the laundry on, I think, Sunday afternoon. And they came out. I put them in my ears, and the AirPods still worked. But the light wouldn't come on in the case when I opened it. And
oh dear.
Yeah, so I left it shut. I let them everything just sit on my desk for 3 days. And then on Wednesday, I finally plugged them in to see if they would take a charge. And they did. The case charged right up. The AirPods charged, and everything seems to be fine for the time being. I was kind of shocked because I thought I would have to at least replace the case, which I think they charge $70. I think it's basically $70 for a case or $70 for a lost AirPod, one single AirPod. and I'm sure it's a similar amount in the UK, but I haven't had to do that, which is good. And I'm actually looking forward to when they come out with the wireless charging case, because I'd really like to try that. I think now that there's going to be something where you can just kind of sit down your phone, your watch, and your AirPod case, that actually is fairly attractive to me, because I don't know, it just seems like a good way to charge things.
Yeah, I mean, well, talking of wireless charging, I actually have, as we speak, an Anker Qi charger on its way, which is arriving today.
Oh, okay.
Because obviously the 8 Plus and that 8 have wireless charging, and I was like, well, it's not. I've always kind of been against wireless charging. One, because I didn't know it was an actual standard, or I didn't know there were standards for wireless charging. And two, I just assumed when Apple released theirs, there would be only like an Apple one that you could use, and not just any third party one. But I've spent like £20 on this wireless charger, and I think, you know what, that's a small enough amount that it's going to give me enough benefit.
Yeah.
I really didn't want to buy one of the Apple ones at £60.
Right. Well, and here's the thing is that, like, for me, I spend an awful lot of time sitting at this desk and swapping things in and out of lightning cables. Like, oh, okay, now it's time for the iPad. Now it's time for the phone. Now it's time for that kind of thing. And while I know I won't be able to do my iPad, for instance, just being able to simultaneously charge my watch, AirPods, and phone eventually without having to move them in and out of different cables will be pretty nice, I think. It's not earth-shattering convenience, but I think it'll be nice to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, it's not really, because I've only really bought one just for the bedroom when I charge my phone at night.
Right.
But as long as the amount I'm spending isn't too much, then the extra convenience I get is worth it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not enough that I would want to spend, like the ones Apple are selling are like £60, the Belkin one, and I think a Mophie one as well.
Yeah. Do you put your phone on Do Not Disturb at night when you go to bed?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, see, here's the thing. I have never been a let my phone enter the bedroom person. I've always just like left it downstairs when I'm done for the day and figured I'm done. I'll take my iPad up or something, but not my iPhone. And I've started to put my phone on my bedside table once in a while, and I've got to get in the habit of Do Not Disturb because I know too many people in Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have mine on the schedule.
Yeah, I should.
I think Do Not Disturb kicks in at like 10 o'clock or something, and then turns back on at 7 in the morning.
Yeah,
I kind of have to take it in there though because it's my alarm clock as well.
Yeah, I use my watch.
Okay, yeah,
because it's got that nightstand mode, so I use that. And I have never really done a schedule because my going to bed and waking up schedule varies a fair amount. So I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that makes sense. Was there anything else on kind of iPhones and news stuff? I think that was probably it.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you were going to mention something about the Fire tablet, right?
Oh yeah, this was just something kind of weird that I saw. The new Fire tablet HD 10 thing. I think that's what it's called. If you buy their case, like you can stand it up and it will work just like an Echo. And it basically works like the Echo Show. I just thought it was kind of interesting that that's the way they're going with it now. Because I know all the tablets have Alexa built in, but this one, like, they're specifically advertising it as, oh, it's got the screen and it basically works the same as the Show.
Huh. Now, I mean, do you know if it has some of the software from the Show that's specific to the Show, or are they just saying having Alexa, having the Alexa functionality is like a Show? And I just set mine off, by the way. Yeah,
I'm not too sure. I haven't actually seen. I basically only saw it on Amazon's website. I haven't seen any like news about this or anything. So I guess maybe it's not massively important, but it's they're kind of advertising it as like, well, they say here like Alexa hands-free tablet. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
What that actually means in terms of usage.
Well, that could be that could be more convenient than a Show, just because the Show is. It's a fixed in place device. You can't really pick it up and take it with you like you could with a tablet.
Yeah, definitely. I just thought it was an interesting little thing that they've kind of released.
Yeah, and it could be a way of kind of repurposing the Show's internals if the Show isn't doing well, because it doesn't seem as though it's gotten all that well received. It sounds I mean, I don't know. I don't know that many people who have tried it, but what I've read about it and the one or two people I know who have tried it weren't that impressed.
Yeah, and I mean, bear in mind as well, it's still US only at this point.
Right. It is coming to the UK. It is coming to the UK though, isn't it? I think, or not?
Maybe. I'm not. I haven't seen anything about it. I would expect to get an email because they tend to email me about these new products because I tend to buy most of them, especially the Echoes and the Dots and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't really know. I think, as you say, it's the fact that it's kind of just this fixed screen just really isn't that useful. I think, maybe, as you say, maybe the tablet would be a better option for some people.
Yeah, a little more versatile. You should get that fashion one, the little camera that sits in your bedroom and tells you whether you've got a smart outfit for the day.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's Rob. It's like, Rob, that color looks terrible on you.
And I'll just throw the thing out the window and be done with it. It'll be one day.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, well, they're throwing everything against the wall and seeing what sticks. And those two things I don't think have done all that well. There was at one point I did have a show on order, but it wasn't for me. It was for Mr. Vitici, and he decided that was not something he needed, so he canceled it.
Cool. Okay. Well, I think that's probably it for this week.
All right. Yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Well, show notes will be ruminatepodcast.com/51.
Ooh, second 50 on our way to 100. We'll be at 100 before you know it, Rob.
There you go. Cool. All right then, John. I'll speak to you next week.
Okay. Bye-bye.